So, well, okay. I got it. We good. I can move it just like this. Yahoo da ma. We over here tightening it up. Y'all done came on and see me getting my audio visuals together. What's goody to the guys and the goddesses, and what's popping to the people. And you know, like we always do about the whole lot of everything. Yes, sir. Yahoo. Zone 1 in the building. What's to it, God? Yeah, we gonna get really, really, really busy today. This one gonna hit heavy. I was tapping in all kind of shit. I ain't even gonna hold on. Okay, Kareem, what's to it, God? Yahoo, everybody. I'm not even gonna do a whole lot of monologue type. Now I be telling y'all, for everybody to think the general don't be going heavy, I wish TikTok agreed with you. They just took my TikTok was hitting that 10,000 and they took it down. So I must be talking about something. That joint was finna go to 10,000 probably by the next morning. I was at 980 something. And then, you know, they did what they did. And that one was heavy. But look what they did, how they bust a move on me. They took it down for saying they trying to whoa. All right. They took it down for saying they want to protect the minors, but my video was about the pedos. Brick, what's to it, God body? Peace, God. Yeah, my video was about the pedos. So I drop a video about the pedos, and you tell me you got to take it down because you worried about the pedos. Yeah, all right. We had 10,000. That means they was really checking for that information, and the comments was nuts too. But I gotta the Superman, the one we just did on superheroes is about to hit 6,000 by the morning. So we gonna keep it coming. You can't stop the information. And then I was just rocking. We got CMB in the building. We got big love for CMB, my clubhouse family. So y'all need to start rocking with us, baby, over there. It's real. Yahoo Queen. Yeah, it's heavy over there. Don't come over there talking that funny talk, because we gonna pack you up and get you right. But the new joint is Bloodline of the Dragon, part 1. I'm gonna do. It's probably gonna take me 3 parts to finish it, but I'm definitely doing Bloodline of the Dragon part 1. In the next 2 days it'll be done. I'm gonna start it tonight. So I ain't even gonna open that door. Now that's what I forgot to do. I forgot to send you the flyer, God. Too late now. But the flyer was what the fuck was it? Oh, no comprehension equals compliance. That was the title on the flyer. No comprehension equals compliance. Now, the reason why I said that is this. We all got ideologies of how things go. We all got a thought process. We all are intelligent enough, especially my crowd, my family. We all thinkers. There's a fine line that hey, what's happening, family? Hey, the Texas Connect in the building, baby. But there's a fine line between what we believe and what we can believe and know to be true. And so that we grow properly. No big eyes and little U's. We're not doing that. But we got to understand the journey is the information. That's why the church say information is currency. Information is the only real currency. Money is an illusion. And the only way you can't get money without the information. So the only thing that's really popping is info. That can get you anything on this planet and the next one. But if you don't have the information, you can't access what you need. So we got to get out of this space of emotionalism where we don't like what we hear, so we stop listening. That can't be a thing, because there's 9 areas of existence. And we are dominated. Black Wall Street, Yahoo, God, what's to it? Now we got 9 areas of existence, according to Dr. Neely Fuller, who is the, I would say, the leading spokesperson on this religion that we call global white supremacy. It's definitely a religion. When you look at what religion is, a set of beliefs and routines and cultural systems that's ran and congruent with the lifestyles of the people. So this is a religion. This is taught. This is passed down orally and otherwise through documentation. So white supremacy is big enough, and it generates enough, and it encompasses enough to meet the definition of an actual religion. So we have to treat it as such. And it's the most dominant religion on the planet. So, of course, like my brother Kareem say all the time, we don't want to be victims. I'm rocking with that. We're not doing the victim thing. What I am going to say is there's a set of things that happened on this planet. CMB, baby. There's a set of things that happened on this planet. And we must know what happened. Even the spooky shit. There's a lot of, that's the biggest thing that's crazy for us is the spooky shit. It's hard to resonate sometimes with us. But I'm telling you, there go the Queen, Yahoo Queen. The spooky shit, I'm telling y'all now, if you want the real information, you're going to find it in the places where you say, that couldn't be true. That's where the truth is at, bro. Where the spooky, where they have, bro, this is Dungeons and Dragons and all kind of shit. All kind of shit went on before this particular existence. So we just need to be clear on that. Now, when we looking at, like I said, we got 9 areas of existence. We have been dominated in all 9. Now, what prevents us from seeing this is ego. Now, I got something that I tapped into some documentation, and I don't like everything about it, but I think we can use it as a for a good framework to deal with something. So hold on. Okay, so now what prevents us from accepting a lot of stuff amongst each other, especially when you're dealing with our men, is this thing called testosterone and the ego. So now, let's deal with it from a definition standpoint. Excuse me. By definition, an ego is a person's sense of self-esteem or self-importance. So before we even get into it, words are important. So think about what it said. By definition, ego is a person's sense of self-esteem and self-importance. That doesn't mean factual. That's self-importance. That's how I view me. Doesn't mean it's wrong, but it don't necessarily mean how I view me is accurate. A lot of time I'm biased, so I tend to view me a little bit better than some other people might. So I got to take that into consideration, that that's a space that any of us could step into at any moment. So it's ego that tells me my brother ain't my brother and my sister ain't my sister. Because I can look over at a time period, whether I agree with it or not, I could look at a time period where all of Black America had a common thought process: power to the people. I'm Black and I'm proud. Black is beautiful. We had that energy, and it was permeating all through the planet with Black people everywhere. You seen Black people in the Olympics for the first time ever with their froze picked out, throwing up the black fist. Are you kidding me? The Olympics, we did that? So you got to think Now, we're not even understanding what we're doing. So now what was the afro? Comprehension is king because it leads to advancement. Lack of comprehension leads to compliance. Because when you don't comprehend indirectly, you're going to work for the enemy. So now, if we took a moment to really digest what was going on at the Olympics, the children of the sun, which is the melanated people, we spent a whole period in American history where we took our hair and we picked it out into a big ass circle. Ain't that the same big ass circle that be behind Jesus' head on the pictures? Wasn't that the sun on top of your head from the children of the sun when you picked out your fro? Bro, if we had knew that and digested it right then, like, wait a minute, why did we do this? But look how much power is in that. We had no idea what we were doing, yet we created a hairstyle that mimicked the sun. And we did it during one of our most oppressive times. And see, if we understood, especially if my black queens could understand, the reason why our hair is so coarse, because hair follicles are antennas. So that beautiful black coarse hair that you got, that's directly connecting you to the cosmos. I got no problem with you going natural, queen. If he don't like it, he's a sucker. Now, if you get weaved up and all that, that's cool too. You're going to be beautiful however you choose to do it. I'm just saying, we need you to know that there's some black men out here that would love to see a nappy ponytail. Got no problem with it. Pick it out. Do whatever you want to do with it. Lock it out. Get them little cute little thing where y'all line it up, but it be beady beads. Get you some of them. We don't care. Not the real ones. If he say something to you about your hair, he's a sucker. Now, past that point, but look what we did, though, unconsciously. That's the subconscious going to work. That's what's going to happen when you start tapping into the universe. But when we got our ego in play, that thing that tells us I'm more important. It's why I never subscribe to the Israelite doctrine. Not that there's not a couple things in there that are true. I mean, and when I say a couple, I do mean a couple. But at the same time, you want to put me in a mind frame that says, first of all, I got to wake up in a world every day that says I'm subservient to a white man. And now I got to wake up tomorrow and find out I'm subservient to some black men too. So you God's chosen people, not all of us, just these certain ones. Well, that makes God a bigot, a racist, and a hypocrite. I choose not to subscribe to that type of a God. If I'm wrong, then punish me. But I don't want to subscribe to a bigot, racist, hypocritic God. Why would I do that? That kind of defeats the point of being God. I could let men play that role. I don't need a God to hover over me and make sure that I do right, all while being a racist hypocrite. But I could burn in hell like bacon for eternity if I piss him off. I'll pass. I'll pass. Ego. When the ego is in place, this one it become a problem. What's the 9 areas we talking about? So you got sex, education, labor, law, politics, economics, war, entertainment, and religion. So now, I can't see what you wrote, Queen. I can't. It looked like it's cut off. Like the letters ain't all the way showing them. My thing messed up. But okay, so now let's start with sex. And this is the taboo topic. This is the touchy topic. So right there, I don't gotta say nothing else. When we say let's discuss how sexuality is being manipulated in our community, right there, that's an argument. Already, people ready to take sides. Well, before I say a word, doesn't that mean somebody's controlling that? If soon as I mention a topic, it make the people who admit they used to be the kings and queens, but I could bring up a topic to make them too do this. Somebody's doing that. That's a controlled thing. So what we're suggesting today is that all 9 areas have been infiltrated and taken over. All 9 areas of existence. So now, with us being an extremely sexual society, we're going to tackle that first. But we can't even touch it, because soon as we start giving our opinion, they'll go to fight. The heterosexual men say, they trying to effeminize the black man. And then the homosexual black man says, they've been suppressing my sexuality. And then the transgender person say, I'm not being allowed to be myself. But what we're really dealing with is, if you really think about it, just think about it. Until these things are presented to us, none of us sit around our house really giving a shit. Like, until it is presented to me, like if I'm sitting on the couch and I'm watching a movie and I'm getting into it, and then unnecessarily, to my thought process, there's just a random homosexual scene. Well, now that has violated my thought process. Now I'm forced to pass judgment on it. And then I'm judged on my judgment. But I never asked to participate in this. See, so now this is a controlled thing. And it's making me think that I have a problem where I didn't have one 5 minutes ago. And so now, they created the social media so we can take our situations and put our thoughts out there. So I put my thoughts out there on this topic and say, hey, I was just watching this movie. It was good. I felt the unnecessary scene. I'm invaded. I don't understand it, blah, blah, blah. Now, here we go. This thread could take the next 7 days with people telling me how I'm trying to, I'm gay bashing, I'm offending, whatever they're coming up with. And then there's going to be people that's going to jump in. Now, I might not see this thread. So people will take on the fight for me. So it'll be people that'll jump on and boom, boom. Let's say I go get in the shower after I post it. Then I go eat some snacks and don't even think about it till the next morning. When I wake up in the next morning, both sides will be and went to war all night over something I just said how I felt in my living room. Now, why is this even a thing? And I heard someone say, for years, the homosexual population their sexuality have been suppressed, and they had to hide their thoughts and feelings and things of that nature. And so now, if you really think about it, what does that mean? Now, we were all crack these things where we say we would crack, homosexual jokes, make fun of people's sexuality. Okay. The comedian get on stage and do it for money, then it's a joke. But why these things even exist? Who made it a thing in the first place? See, I live in a space where I choose not to deal with cancer. I choose to deal with the cause of cancer. Once we got cancer, how does cancer create it? Where does it start at? How does it formulate? What does it consist of? Just the things we need to know. So when I'm dealing with this space of people saying, okay, well, we've been suppressed, then I have to say, well, where did it come from? Who started the suppression? Well, I was picked on in school. Okay, so now, I've been referencing this a lot because I've been watching a lot. I was watching Game of Thrones, and the two kids got into a fight, and one of the kids slashed the other kid, cut his eye out. And then when they got the kids up front and asking them what happened, the mom jumped in and said, my kids, they've been saying horrible things to. They want to know what was said to them. Said, well, they questioned the legitimacy of my children. Basically saying she cheated and made the kids. And then little kids say, he called me a bastard. Now these are kids who pretty much too young to know what that word means. So instantly, the king said, where did you hear this? So I went all through that just to say, when we hear people make certain statements, before we run with these statements, we got to get to the origin of them. So when we hear people saying that, their sexuality has been suppressed for all of these years, how? Okay, I got picked on in school. Okay, let's go to the school kids and ask them, where'd you get this terminology from? Bottom line is, when you keep getting to the root of this, the source of the problem is going to come from the same place that's telling you to fix the problem. That's frequently how it goes. So what I mean is, if you don't present things a certain way in movies, they don't get taken a certain way. So like, here's my thing. All through the 80s and the 90s, when the gang banging influx, since gang activity increased in the country, what you start seeing in all the movies is little random scenes in the movie where the movie wouldn't have nothing to do with black folks, but in the middle of a movie, a black dude in a Crip rag would walk up like, hey, give me your purse. Pull out a switchblade. Oh no, it's the bad black man. Give it up, bitch. And then he run off with the purse and shit. And now this scene was completely unnecessary. And then we sit around and here's what we do. We at the movies, then paid to get in, took the children and everything. And then we sit there and talk about, afterwards, when we break it down the movie, we talk about, the only thing, the movie was good, but they always kill us first. These old racist ass Hollywood always kill us first. Why'd you accept it for so long? It's never about the individual. It's about the overall thing that we're not looking at. So Hollywood deemed you and painted you in a certain light for decades. You went to the movies and watched it. You complained, but you went to the movies and watched it. You complained, but you took the role. The black guy that's snatching a purse that's giving you a bad visual about black people. We mad at the director, but we not mad at the asshole who took the role. See, that's the whole thing right there. So then we got to look at it from that perspective and put that lens on it. When you keep looking at it, there's manipulation from the core, and it's a system of it. That's where the real solutions lie. The solutions don't lie in the surface shit of they're suppressing our sexuality. Who is they and how are they doing it? With language. Where did this language come from? Where was it heard from? These slurs that these children are using at home, where did they get it from? And when it's all said and done, You're going to look at the tail lie vision, which is going to give you your perceptions. So you will say, you will see, I know people that been gay their whole life, never been oppressed at all, but will make statements like, she'll be like, see, that's just how they do us because we gay. Bro, I've been knowing you your whole life. You've never been discriminated against as a gay person. Your fucking friends love you. And then she be laughing like, yeah, you right, G. So why'd you say that? Now, had I not been in the room, that statement could have flew to ears that would have took it a different way. So why did the statement get made anyway? Because it's the common thought process that gets perpetuated. But you don't really physically see it. You don't see people running around beating up on homosexual people. I'm not saying it doesn't happen. Of course it does. But it happens to every group in America. Why are we only seeing one thing? If you understand this is war, then you understand that all wars have an agenda. What's the agenda of this war? Now, they will tell you, if you ask America what's their mission, they'll tell you to spread democracy. Democracy. What is dem? Dem is the root of the word demon. Ocracy is a mob collective. You see, no comprehension equals compliance. So us black folks being democrats, we're helping them spread demonocracy. Because when you don't have comprehension, you become compliant in the scheme. Education. If we can sit around for decades and say, they don't teach our kids nothing at school, that ain't the real history. So let me get this straight. You say you're free. Yet a free people not only allow, but beg for their enemies to educate their children. Name me one time in human history this strategy was ever effective. Not only do you allow, you beg, yet demand that your enemies house you and educate your children. If I am in charge, okay, let's flip the script. Right now, we at war. Well, let's just say we wake up tomorrow and white folks say, we give up. We can't do it no more. From now on, black folks is in charge of education. You will go from kindergarten to college graduation before you hear about another white person down there. Why should they be any different? Only a fool expects their enemy to educate their children. Why would I educate your child? Fuck your child. I hope they never learn shit. I hope they get dumb as hell, become dope dealers, womanizers, and pimps and gangsters. That's what I hope for your fucking children. I don't give a shit whether they're educated. You can march as fucking much as you want, sing Kumbaya, we shall overcome. Hell, we'll even give you some fucking record labels, pretend to sing as much as you want about how much we've oppressed your black ass. But what we're not gonna do is change the dynamics. We will allow you all the time and energy and resources you need to bitch about the shit we'll never give you. That's what you could do. I'm gonna educate your fucking children. Why would I do that? And so then we say, my child got a good education. I sent them to a this kind of school. I sent them to a that kind of school. What's a good education? Obtain enough knowledge and information to get into a position to continue to work for your master. Now, am I saying don't become educated? Of course not. But what I'm saying is, only a fool allows his enemy to educate his damn children. So if the education, if the bar that you set, the standard that you set is moving them through an American educational system and then through an American college, I don't give a shit how many degrees your child gets. If none of that was done with the understanding that this is a war and they are the targets, then you just wasted a lot of fucking time, money, and effort. Feel how you want to feel about it. This is fucking war. Get it or don't. But they get it. And that's why you're the number one resource on the planet. They take pills that they've made from your skin to go to sleep at night, melatonin. This is what you get when you don't comprehend that the educational system for this country was created by the people they snuck in the country from Nazi Germany. So the same guys that used to hang out with Hitler is who created the curriculum for what your children learned. Hey, whatever. Works for you. Works for whatever. And I ain't gonna shoot at my boy Springfield, but watch them Christian facilities, bro. No, I'm just tripping, God. But we cannot trust our people to educate our offspring, because let's just humor me and say the general right. That maybe I could be right, and this is really a war, because if somebody come onto your land, beat the brakes off you and take your shit, that's usually a declaration of war. But different people got different explanations of what they think war is. If people come onto your land and the next thing you know, they're eating dinner with some guys that are gonna later be called Native Americans while your ass around the corner in a fucking death chamber, you probably shouldn't one day start celebrating that very same holiday. But no comprehension equals compliance. Labor. We don't have to spend much time on it. You're either working towards your dream or you're working for them. There's nothing else. Then other things can come to be, but right now, as it stands, You're working towards your dream or you're working for them, which means they completely control labor. Law. You're right. I'm not gonna waste our time. If there's anybody listening to me that think law is not like the worst game ever created in America, just log off and I'll tell people we used to know you and you were cool. We know what's going on with the police, law enforcement. So now you got war. And I talked about this a couple times last week in a couple different spaces I was in. War is a controlled thing. We have you can look up Dr. Phil Valentine, something about the Matrix, Melanin Matrix, Decoded, I think it is, where he breaks down we gonna do oh, that question just hit me so hard I damn near forgot what I was finna say. I don't even care what I was finna say. What language did Jesus speak? Had to be Hebrew, right? Okay. Oh, that's another thing too. What time is it? It's 8:30. This little thing, this little buttons down I got down here, it can hold up to 10. We can get it. We can slide and get it popping in here tonight. At 9 o'clock, we got a link that go up in the chat. It's gonna go up at 9 o'clock. Anybody want to can hit the link. You're gonna pop up down here, and I'll pull you up, and we can fill this front up and lock in the right way. So then we can get all the smoke off our chest we want. Now, what language did Jesus speak? Had to be Hebrew. Hebrew came from Greek. I seriously doubt Jesus spoke it. The Jesus that they explain to you in the Bible, they only give you bits and pieces of his life. Mostly the Bible Jesus is a fictional character. They took pieces off of Yahshua, which was the young man who we're talking about. Now, he was Middle Eastern. There's no such thing as the Middle East, so he really was African. But that region that we now call the Middle East, it will be modern day Lebanon. That's where he's from. That's where the real story went down at, with him getting into it with the Romans and all that shit. Hebrew is not ancient. They be lying. And the Hebrew language comes from Greek. You can look up Joseph Ahidu, I think it is, but it's called From Hebrew to Greek. He got the #1 work on this topic, and he's never been debunked. The book is expensive as hell, but you can get a PDF. Excuse me, y'all, but these research be fire. Yeah, Joseph Yehuda, but it's spelled with a Y. Joseph Yehuda or some shit like that. It's spelled with a Y. It's called From Hebrew to Greek. Get the PDF on that joint. It's long, but Aramaic. Yep. That you're right, Queen, because Joseph of Aramea is who took him off the cross. You're right, Queen. Joseph of Aramea is who took him off the cross. And this is why you don't that's why you ain't have to hey, what you talking about, Zone 1? Zone 1, what you talking about down there, man? Oh, with the Reese's right there, side be going. Hey, yeah, and that's why you don't hear much about the Aramaic people or the Aramaic language. That was it's a lot of trickery going on with the Jesus story. So Jesus didn't die on the cross. And like I said, Jesus is not even a real person. The letter J is only 500 years old. So the real King James name really is spelled with an I. So it would have been King Ames. So it would have been more like Iusus over Jesus. It wouldn't have been Jesus because there was no J. So that's just some Greek shit. You know, they be trying to twist it up and always turn it their way. But you dealing with a just like I say all the time, yeah, you dealing with a young revolutionary. So he would have been you like I say, you dealing with it would have been modern day Palestine, and he was 12. That's why they tell you, see, you can look and find the truth in there. They tell you he started his ministry at 12 or he came back. Remember they tell you he disappeared or whatever the fuck, and he came back at the age of 12, that type shit, because the story starts at 12. That's why they don't have no history before 12 of Jesus. Everybody be like, well, what was he doing between birth and 12? The reason why they don't got no history, because the story starts with a 12-year-old boy. So now the 12-year-old boy was the Romans have invaded. So it's war all over his country. Now he coming home from wherever he was coming home from that day, and it was dead bodies everywhere. And it was the bodies that it was accumulation of the trauma and seeing how the Roman soldiers was doing his people. And little shorty snapped. And he just had but he didn't snap like that. He snapped on some revolutionary shit. He snapped on some wait a minute, this shit ain't right. So right there in like the little area he was in, he just started talking. They doing this, we accepting it, blah, 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 blah. And now people start coming out like, who is? Now they know him. That's why they say he was a carpenter and all that shit. He's the little fixie kid. They know who he is. So he well known in the area, but they don't know him like this. He quiet, keep to himself. Now he talking that talk. Everybody come out. Now from that moment on, this is what he start doing. He start coming wherever they at with the bullshit. He'll go out there and start rallying up the people. Now, that's why I always tell Christians, these modern day Christians is too passive. If you're going to be like Jesus, Jesus was a rebel. This is a little radical. So they meeting the soldiers with the rock game. You know, this back in the day, they stoned the shit out them. They getting it in with the soldiers is they fighting back. And so he did something that didn't happen in his area before. A 12-year-old out of everybody else that tried, a 12-year-old gave these people the energy to say, we not taking it no more. That's what he rallied the people up. Now, you got a group of people at the time, was called, I forgot their name though. You can get this information from Dr. Barry Shango. He tell you the life of Jesus and break it down to you. Dr. Something Barry Shango, but he's very highly reputed. So now and that's just one of the sources, but either way it go. So now you got these mountaineer dudes. I forget their name, but these is like the local they not really the police, they for the home team. So they just like protectors, like servicemen. So they hide out in the mountains and they be fighting back against the Romans. So now what happens is, now if you look in the scriptures, how they always tell you, you got to think about it. How somebody, they don't tell you nothing about dude being athletic or nothing. Now we know soldiers train. We talk about Roman soldiers from the movies. These dudes is in hellish shape. How he always getting chased by them and getting away. They never explain that to you. But they tell you they chased them here and chased them there, but they never tell you they caught him until the day they caught him. How is this guy on the run from professional soldiers? See, they leave a lot of shit out because it's the mountaineer dudes. They broke down to him, gave him the game. Look at all the movies who show you. They show you in every movie. They got this young phenom who come in. He talented. He don't know how, but he green as hell. And through the course of everything, he become better than everybody who trained him. They show you that story 1,000 fucking times. That's his story. So they teach him the ways of the mountains and how to maneuver and how to ghost these people so he can keep the revolution going. They on the front line. They still got to do what they do. So he start rallying the people. That's where the disciples come from. He get him a little squad together and they banging on the establishment. That's what was really going on. Now, when they catch him, if y'all remember, this is why they always give you 4 different stories about him. Because between those 4 different stories, the real story is in there. But they give it to you 4 different ways. So you got to go to the story, the one with Pontius Pilate, where they tell you clearly Pontius Pilate was not interested in killing him. He didn't care about it. You're talking about blasphemy in ancient Rome. Nobody gets in trouble for blasphemy. They believe all kind of shit back then in them days. So that wasn't what the problem was. They just throw that shit in the scripture. The real problem was revolution. He started a revolution. He roused the people to fight back. But like they tell you in the scripture, Pontius Pilate's wife told him, no, do not do this. I got a bad feeling about it. So they also tell you that night, them people came in there and gave him a potion. And he drank it. Then he went up there and to the execution. The fuck was that for? And why did they even throw that into the story? Then they tell you Mary go to the tomb and looking for him and can't find him. And then somebody say, woman, why you crying? She start crying. She look at dude and say, I'm looking for my husband. He say, woman, I'm right here. She say, I thought you was the gardener. How the hell can you look at your husband and think he the gardener? Unless he disguised as the gardener. Now, what else happened? She go to hug him. He say, don't hug me. I have not yet ascended to my Father. Why he say don't hug him? He's sore as fuck. He just got off the crucifix. And I have not yet ascended. I ain't been nowhere. I'm still here. Then what he say after that? He said, go tell the disciples I'm gone. I went to heaven. Why did he do that? You gotta pay attention to the story. And then later on, they come with the Da Vinci Code to tell you that his wife and child escaped. How did they get out of there without him? She just came to the tomb and was talking to him. And then she went and had dinner with him. How the fuck she escaped and he stayed there? And then they tell you he floated off to heaven. Get the fuck out of here. He told you he didn't ascend. So if he didn't ascend, mean he didn't die, he's still alive. And if she got out and he's still alive, and we don't talk about him no more, he got out too. That's what the real deal is, God. So back to where we started this whole thing at. No comprehension equals compliance. The only reason why we compliant with this Jesus myth, because we don't have comprehension of the actual story. When you don't have comprehension, you become compliant. And it's the ego that stops you and puts up a barrier that says, I got so much information, I don't need to know this. But if If my brother need my ear, I gotta lend it to him. I might not agree with what he putting in it, but I gotta lend it to him. But how many times did we start out not agreeing, only to find ourselves partway through this thing like, hey, wait a minute, maybe we got something here. We have to call it as it is, not how we would like it to be. So now, let's go back to this. We still on this list, though. We got 9 areas that we got to deal with. We still on this list. So we did labor and law and war. War was the last one we did. And I was just going to add to that when I was talking about war. When you're looking at, let's take this most recent thing that we call the war. I ain't talking about the current thing now, because in order for you to understand the current thing, you got to understand the past thing. So let's go to the thing that we call the war on terror, the war in the Middle East. Well, we should have knew something when they called it a war on drugs, and we know that they started it. See, so riddle me this. If they use the term war on drugs and the whole thing was concocted, they created the drugs, put it into the community, and then blamed us for it, and then arrested us for it. Problem, reaction, solution. The problem is we need to infect the Black community. So we concocted something. We took regular cocaine, did something called freebase, mixed it up, and now, from a scientific perspective, I know we didn't know this, but when you take the crack and you add the baking soda, when you take the cocaine and you add the baking soda, from a molecular standpoint, that mixture latches on to melanin molecules quicker than any other. So that baking soda cocaine concoction was designed for melanated beings. There wasn't an accident. They concocted it in a lab and knew that it would affect you harder because they came with cocaine, and cocaine was not taking you out. So they needed something to really get the job done. So now, get the reaction. You put it all over the news and let the world see you looking disastrous and preying on each other. And then the world cries out, we're not safe. Help, look at them, they're monsters. And now they got to do something. They got to lock you up because the public outcry. So for decades, we're looking at horrible behavior from our people. But nobody stops to think there was a moment where our people didn't behave this way. So then we know a thing happened. So how can we afford to ignore the thing that happened and just say, our people ain't right? They will never be right if we ignore how they got there. We cannot, as they say, put the chicken before the egg. If there is a thing that has infected our community that has allowed us to behave a certain way, we will never be able to deal with that and get our way out of that if we do not first deal with that thing. You can't work it backwards. We can't deal with the problematic people and say we got to fix them. No. We got to go back to the root of how they became problematic and deal with that. But that takes time and resolve, and we don't have the patience for that, but it's necessary. You're looking at a war, so they say, where it started out with what they told us was planes running in the buildings. Then we later on find out that it was a demolition thing, and everybody said that the buildings were blown up from the basement and buckled in the middle. So now we got demolitions experts that examine the footage and say, yes, this looks just like they put a demolition blow up right next to the 9/11 thing, send it off at the same time. They both crumble the exact same way. So now we see, okay, 9/11 was an inside job. Okay, now how can we verify this? We got 50 years of cinema where they're all but spelling out that the towers are going to get blown up. So then when it actually happens, they convince people that this was just a coincidence. It really did happen. Now, when you look at our emergency number is 911. So when you do it on 911, it automatically tells your subconscious to panic. See, we can't overlook all these psychological aspects to something that we think happened naturally. Then we look at the fact that, okay, our nation for the last 20 years has been in an enormous heroin boom. Now, is it a coincidence that we conquered the poppy fields when we took over Kuwait? See, we can't keep overlooking these things. So then we're looking at something other than what they told us. There's all of these things attached to this thing that looks like, wait a minute. So if we can accept the possibility that maybe this nation was behind it, what could possibly have been gained? And then we look at what was gained. We took control of the heroin market. Okay, well, let me see if that's accurate. So I look up, the poppy fields and what's been going on. And then you can read in bold letters, since America took over, the distribution of poppy in Kuwait has been 10 times what the fuck? Wait a minute. How did the good guys take over the heroin industry and it multiplied by 10? And nobody's talking about it. Nobody's talking about it. How do we explain that? How do we explain telling us that we lost the Vietnam War, but their nation became Christian afterwards? See, these are things that must be put under a microscope. You're not going to tell me I got my ass whooped so bad that you decided to take on my beliefs. Who the fuck ever did that? You're fighting a religious war. Why are these people fighting? Because they have two different religions. My God against yours. That's what the fight is about. So I'm going to lose a fight about whose God is better, and then I'm going to convert to your God anyway over the next 2 decades? It doesn't make sense until you Google what was Vietnam known for during 19 Blase Skippy? Heroin production. Hot damn it. Now we getting somewhere. So you mean to tell me the United States has capitalized off of 4 decades of heroin production through wars? See, this space we don't like to live in because this space makes us accountable. We say it's a scapegoat. But what it really means is if I'm right, y'all got to do some more research. If you're right, you can go to sleep tonight and don't worry about it. If I'm right, you can't get no fucking sleep after hearing this shit. If I'm right and you believe it, it's going to be a long fucking night for you because now you got to dig and see if this shit makes some sense. You're going to spend the next 7 days trying to see if this shit makes sense, if you're dedicated to seeing what your people are about. Or you could dismiss me and get on with your life. But let's call it what it is. Most people stay away from my type of information because it requires a commitment, a couple commitments. The first commitment is a change of thought. The second commitment is an outward admittance publicly to others that you're changing the thought. The third thing is you have to now act as if you believe the new you. That's what I had to do. That everybody ain't cut like that. Everybody ain't cut like that to come in the middle of the world, in the middle of everything. You flowing how you flowing, and you wake up like to the truth, and you ain't passive about it. You adamant about it. Like, no, I ain't back on that. This the truth over here, and I'm standing on it. So I mean, anybody who ain't standing on them side-eyeing you. Don't know, I ain't doing Christmas. What? I ain't doing Thanksgiving. I ain't doing Valentine. I ain't doing none of that. Got to look at your beautiful queen and say, Queen, I love you. But I refuse to do any February 14th anymore until I leave this planet. And y'all got to get on that frequency where she can understand her king trying to do the right thing. But before she could even begin to try to process that, you got to be man enough to say it to her. Somebody ain't getting no nookie. Somebody ain't getting no nookie. That's why they don't listen to the general. It requires some commitment, bro. But it's a necessary evil, if that's what you want to call it. But these wars ain't real. We say economics is next. Like, they got something called the stock market. Oh, okay. Oh, yeah, let's do it. Hey, let me see. I'm finna get to yelling and shit. Hey, Corey. It's supposed to pop in the chat, but he might not put it in there. But I'm finna get him over here right now. He's just in the next room. If he don't hear me yelling, I'm gonna call him. Let me see. 1 second. Yeah, we gonna open it up. Let's get his on one. Where he at? Oh, there you go. Let me see. Well, my partner Ray, hey man, I gotta get ready for Friday, guys. Just inbox me anything, man. Can we get the whatchamacallit in the chat, God? So they want to come in. We want to get a couple people in. Can you? Yep. All right.
I got you.
We finna do it now. So now they got the we talk about control economics. So let's talk about the Great Depression. So here's what they do. They tell you the Chase Bank at the time, biggest bank in the country. They tell you the bank finna crash. So now you know the bank, the major bank give out the loans and shit like that. Give out your grants and your loans, help you finance your houses and all of that shit. Okay, so now they also finance the smaller banks, get their money from the big bank. And so now when you get it through everywhere that the biggest bank on the planet about to crash, we are standing on what we say we know and who we say you are. Message broadcast. Yeah, my. Now, if you think the bank finna crash, now everybody panic. This is all over the news. It's everywhere. The biggest bank, the big fella, finna crash. So everybody run out. They foreclose their homes, sell this, sell that, sell it all to the bank. Try to stop the bank from crashing, take their little money out, this, that, and the third. Now, this leaves a void in society because now what happens is all of that free property in those businesses just up for grabs for the low. So now the bad guys slide in, hey, and buy up everything. And the people wake up to a place where the bank never crashed. And they have sold and foreclosed everything. Now, depression is real because it's here. and the country has just got bankrupted. Slickest move ever. So now, the United States, George Washington and them fellas, Ben Franklin and them fellas, they ran off with the King Chop. King James and them guys, the Freemason dudes ran off with they chop. So they ran off, started the American Revolution, set up shop in America, got paid. The king talking about, what up with that pack money I owe you? Man, you ain't getting that. We bubbling now, baby. So they never paid their debt back. Started America, a free Masonic country. So now you on the outside looking in, you just got to buy your time and wait it out. And then you see your moment. And you bankrupt the country, create the Great Depression. And now those same slick motherfuckers who about 250 years ago ran off with great granddaddy Chop, they gotta hit you up and tell you they need a loan. You need a what, bitch? You need what? A loan? Oh my God. Can you say $1 trillion debt? The deficit they keep telling y'all is however many trillion. They don't owe that to whoever the fuck they told y'all. They owe that to the mob, the global mob, for the money they borrowed that they stole. So you stole our shit. We tricked you out of it. And now the only way you can get it back is if you borrow some money on top of the shit you stole. Yeah, we'll loan it to you. So we're going to loan you the shit you stole. We're going to add that. We're going to loan you the shit you borrowed. But we're going to add on your fee with the shit that you stole plus the interest rates. That's a couple trillion. Now, if you can pay that, we'll pay. Wait a minute. How you going to pay you, bro, my nigga? We need some collateral. What you want? We'll give you anything. Did you say anything? Because we was thinking about like every fucking citizen in your country. Birth certificate, social security card. Let's get it. So they completely controlled the economic playing field, bankrupted the country, bought up all the property, sold you your country back after you sold out all the fucking people in it. I would say economics is pretty fucking controlled. And if you don't believe that, just look at all the satanic shit on the back of the money. That'll help too. Now, the last one is religion. You put the link in there, God?
Yep. It's what they're gonna have to do is they're gonna have to copy it in the browser. When I put it in the chat, it won't be a link.
So where is in the where's that?
It should be in the chat.
I don't see it. Is it? Would I see it or just them?
They would probably see it on the YouTube. Someone with the YouTube, it was in there.
Oh, okay. If you're on YouTube, oh yeah, all y'all on YouTube. He said the link is in the chat. Copy it into your browser and let's get it.
Yep. That's all I gotta do.
Everybody can come in, and we can do whatever.
And then I also put it in the inbox for Facebook for you too.
Oh, okay.
Just in our inbox.
Okay, bet. We on y'all. Let's get it. I'm gonna give y'all a minute. When I see y'all little boxes popping up, I'm gonna pull you in. I gotta I could put it in the if y'all still in the room, I could put it in there too though. But anybody I don't know, y'all gotta let me know if y'all see it. He said it's in the YouTube in the chat. And then when I see them, I just Oh, it'll tell me bring them in or whatever.
Yeah, the box will pop at the bottom. Do you want me to throw it on in the Facebook group?
No, I'm finna put it in the they in Clubhouse. He said he don't see it in whatchamacallit. I'm finna put it in Clubhouse though. This don't even. No, it ain't gonna go like that. Here you go. Copy link, and then I'm gonna go to where y'all at, and then y'all my. There go to Queen Mama, y'all right there. You want me to put it up top or just in the chat? You want me to put it up shit. Top or just in the My fault, y'all. I'm finna put it in the I think I heard the echo like that. Someone wants to say, hey, mama. I think y'all let me know if y'all got it. I think I just put it in the chat. It should be in the room now, y'all. Did you get it, Jay? We gotta get Joe up here. Where Joe at? Joe, come on, man. That's the only person I ain't seen pop up. My late night partner gotta come rock with me. Where Joe at, man? Oh, my dog, Black Dave, where you at? You still in the building, God? Hey, damn. I ain't fucking with Facebook though. Facebook we hating. All right, y'all gotta let me know if y'all got it, God. There go. Okay, there go Jay. Who?
Yo.
On one, what's happening, baby?
What's going on, man?
All right, now say something. I can't hear you. Is that me or you? You got your mic muted or me? No, it ain't muted on my end.
I'm about to mute it now.
It sounds like it's muted on your. Oh wait, no. I think I got to put these on. Let me see now. I don't never have these damn things on. That's probably why I can't hear nothing. All right, where Joe at? Come on, Joe. I'm looking for Joe and Black Dave, Kareem. Don't act like we can't fight now, Kareem. Come on. you gonna start some shit when I leave here. Don't wait till I leave. Come on with it. Jay, he gonna wait clean till I get up out of here and say all kind of slick shit. Come on with it. I need that smoke right now. We might well get it on. We tapped in heavy today too. That's hold on. Oh, I gotta plug my phone back up. It's finna die. So I'm finna get back to it though, because I had something else too.
Oh yeah.
You super good. All right, come on, man. We finna lose our 45 minutes. I want us all to tap in. There we go. Joe, man, I'm my late night partner then hiding on me. I know he can hear me too. Joe, I know you hear me. I know you do. I can't hear the room, but I know you hear me. I'm specifically telling you, if you don't come hang out with me, Joe, when we get on a late night show, man, you're gonna have to talk. We're gonna have to iron it out. You my brother, but we're gonna have to iron it out. But oh, can you hit that for me, please, guy? But back to where we was at though. Back in the space we was at. So whoever else want to, I put the link in there. Y'all can tap the link and come on in. The more the better, because I wanted to have a panel discussion, but it's whatever. So now if you think about it, I don't personally think none of those 9 areas could be contested for us to say that those areas are being dominated. Excuse me. So now, if we can look at all of these areas and see consistently that we don't really have a space that we control in any of the 9 most important areas of existence, then we could easily say, I mean, if we too proud to say that we're still slaves, at the very least, we could say we're heavily oppressed. We have to call attention to that for the mere fact we got brothers and sisters that's walking around and their mind state is that we're free already. However, their definition of free means that we're allowed to do all the shit that we ain't got no business doing anyway. So they still allow us that space to freely do everything we don't have any business doing. And we evaluate through that lens and say, man, I can do what I want to do. But coincidentally, everything that you want to do has no chance of helping your people. So then you have to ask yourself, am I really the one pulling the strings? Because if I am, then I openly have to admit I don't give a shit about my people. And that could be a thing. But if I can't openly admit I don't give a shit about my people, then I'm going to have to reach the conclusion that something here is in play. And then what I said, the reason why people don't like that space, because once I admit something's afoot, I goddamn it, I got to deal with it. It's the monster in the closet. Now, let's get back to the this is what I wanted to break down, this ego thing, because I think it's the biggest thing that hurts us when we get in these spaces where we could potentially be making a difference, and we don't, because ego always finds a way to step into the environment and take over, and we allow that. So like, okay, here we go right here. I had this joint. I had checked this out before. It was kind of dope. Wait, where'd it go? Oh, right here. All right, so now these are some it says 25. We may not go through the whole 25, but I thought some of these was dope. Ways to kill the toxic ego that will ruin your life. So now keep this. Now this is the dopest part. What they chose for number 1. I always be attentive to when people make things like this, how they prioritize. So what they prioritize to be the rule number 1 for killing your toxic ego is to adopt the beginner's mindset. Now, what does that mean? Adopt the beginner's mindset. Think about any time you were in the beginning stages of learning about something that really interested you. Think about how like into it you are, how excited you are about it when the topic really interests you, because you know of this thing, but you don't know about it, and you can't wait to learn as much as possible about it. So you're in no mental position to question all the information and challenge everything. You just want to take it all in. You'll decide how you feel about it later. When you're reading a good novel, you don't stop the book because you don't like 2 scenes in the book. The book good as hell. You get to a scene you don't like, so you just stop reading the whole book. That rarely happens unless that scene is just so horrific or unmoralistic you can't take it. But for the most part, you have to take it in and then decide how you feel about it. But we don't do that when we're dealing with each other. When we're dealing with each other, we instantly, oh, you. That's not a beginner's mindset. That says I already know enough that you can't teach me nothing. Well, if you know enough that you can't be taught, why are we having an exchange where people should be learning? So be careful what circles you put yourself in. If you don't have the desire to exchange information to give and receive, then only put yourself in environments where people just listen to you talk and you don't gotta care about opinions. So I just thought the first one was super dope for them to say, start with a beginner's mindset, and then they break it down a little bit. Each one of the rules got a little. Each one of the ones got a little breakdown to it. So the first one, it was like, oh shit, I got us on the big joint, Jay. What the fuck I did? Okay, let me down. Okay, there we go. Okay, so now the first one was, it is impossible to learn that which one thinks one already knows. It is possible to learn that which one thinks one already knows. So how you enter an exchange that you could potentially learn something from, but you already know everything. So have a beginner's mindset when dealing with new information in your ego. That's dope. Number 2, it says focus on the effort, not the outcome. I like that a lot because they say, it's a saying I hear all the time, and I love this saying. I use it frequently. It's the destination, not the journey. It's like I was talking to the guy earlier about intaking information on the level of knowledge versus wisdom. And so knowledge is more like the beginning steps of understanding some things, but when you say wisdom, it's a reason why we typically use that term when dealing with older people, older relatives, or older figures in our life. We say, that's a wise old man, or that wise old woman, the wise old owl. See, wise and wisdom is always attached to older and elderly and things of that nature, because it's a progressive thing. So it's a building block. So now, when we're dealing with this information, since we know information is the only real currency, then what we're trying to become is wise in information. As much information as we can obtain along the journey. That's what we're doing. That's what it's all about. So I like it when they say, don't worry about the outcome. If I am, it says focus on the effort, not the outcome. So if I know I'm giving it everything I got, and sometimes we get everything we got, and we even do that through the ego, because we consider how much we've done, and then we say, all that I did, I deserve to take a break. Says who? What does that look like? What does I've done so much I deserve to take a break actually look like? Because there's very few things we deserve. You have an existence prior to what you understand. So what you deserve, you probably can't even comprehend with your current knowledge of what your life is like. You had a lot going on before this moment. So the effort, what you put into a thing, not what's, if you know what you put into it, then we can guarantee you'll get what you want at the back end. With any creative endeavor, at some point, what we made leaves our hands. We can't let what happens after that point have any sway over us. We need to remember famous coach John Wooden's advice. Success is peace of mind, which is a direct result of self-satisfaction in knowing you made the effort to do your best, to become the best you are capable of becoming. So becoming the best you are capable of becoming, that's a progressive thing. You can never start out your best. If you start out the best you'll ever be, that means you'll never really try as hard as you are now. It's the journey. Everything that you obtain along the way of any true self-seeking journey that's going to be the real treasure. And this one right here is super dope. This one says, now this is all, now keep in mind what page we on. We talking about how to keep the ego in check. And more specifically, when dealing with each other and exchanging the information, how to keep your ego from staying out the room when you and your brothers and sisters are trying to, tap into the third eye. Choose purpose over passion. That's the gem right there. Purpose over passion. Because all of these topics, any topic, we're going to be passionate about because you're engaging in it. If you didn't have passion over the topic, why even respond? So once you see it start getting heated, then we know it's getting heated because there's passion here. Okay, but what was the purpose of discussion in the first place? Now, I use this the situation we had, and I ain't gonna go deep into it, but scenario we had in CMB where the guy asked a question where he said, when we're looking at the Hispanic culture, and we see from the outside looking in, we see it appears to be a lot of camaraderie. And so he used, for an example, when you come into their neighborhood, you will see they have Hispanic grocery stores. They have a Hispanic bank with all Hispanic tellers. They're going to have Hispanic car dealership, his Hispanic mechanic. Everything is going to be their people in their community, and it's close knit. So the guy said, can we take a page out their book? Because of our current positioning in the country is we're not very unified as a people. So the guy said he wondered, could we take a page out of their book and just use that as a catalyst to do the same? So now that question spawned what turned into a 2-hour back and forth amongst all of us. And it's a good thing because it ended with a lot of information exchanged. And at the end, those who didn't see eye to eye found a way to. So everybody, settled their differences at the end of the day. Now, my thing is this. Let's go back to the initial question. Can we use the unity that we see being portrayed by another group as a way to unify? So when we break this thing down in essence, a question about how we should unify turned into an argument and a result of no unity. So then we got, what's to it, God? Black Dave in the building. What's to it, God? So now,
yo,
a question about unity turned into a 2-hour moment that lacked unity. So within the parameters of the question that the guy asked, the answer displayed itself right there before us. We were so caught up in ourselves, each individual caught up so much in what they want to prove, that we missed the fact that this moment that we're speaking against is literally taking place right now. What allows that to happen? A discussion about unity turns into a non-unified moment. Only ego can do that.
Right. And that's it right there. That's why these other ethnicities and cultures can come into this country and just have wreck, do what they want, because we so worried about fighting over what's on the ground. They over here and seeing these opportunities and just snatching them up, just like that.
Absolutely, God, I'm rocking with that too. And that's why this joint said right here, choose purpose over passion. So like I used that scenario because it was perfect. You had a passion just like the rest of us in the room. However, your moment started with a purpose. You're trying to say, okay, what can we get? What can we gain from this? Your purpose was, what can we gain from this information? So it allowed you through the Discord to stay fairly neutral because you didn't get caught up in passion. Obviously, you have a passion for the discussion because you created the question. but you lived in purpose more so than passion, and it kept you balanced. So that's why I said this is dope when they say choose purpose over passion, because men, we high emotion. We try to say we not emotional. Men are the most emotional creatures on the planet. That's why we kill. We kill over our emotions. We just think women are more emotional because they cry, and we see it. We get emotional. We take a life and call it gangster. Who's doing more damage? We definitely more emotional than women. Hate to say it.
Yeah, I could agree to that. You know, there's a clip that was floating around on the internet. It was a workforce. One of the guys got fired, and all of the people that was with him, they was Mexicans. They all left. They all decided to leave with him. And I just saw that. I'm like, damn, that's something that I feel like we could take a page out of that book. Just like the camaraderie, you know, sticking together, being there for each other. Yeah, we might take this L today, but we're gonna win in the long run.
And you know, that was a dope ass perspective. And you know what? And see, that just shows something right there, because I saw that, like, you know, a while back, whenever it was, and now I posted it, but I didn't take your approach. I posted it and I said the same thing. Look how they stick together, and I left it at that. But you reversed the energy. So now what I did was participate. I lived in my passion, not my purpose. So my passion had me posted and say, look at that. We don't got it like that. Your purpose said, wait a minute, could we get it like that? See, so the difference right there in approach, I facilitated the information different than you did. And so that matters right there. We got to pay attention to these things and not be looking for, there's a negative to everything, but what good could we get from it? Is there something there? If not, we could throw it away. But if it is, then we don't want to miss the opportunity where we could have had something.
Yeah, I see what you're saying. That's how you got to look at it, man. I pick up game from OGs. I'm not questioning what you doing or how much money you got in your pocket. Like, yo, if I got game from you, fuck, I'll apply that to what I'm doing and keep it pushing. That's what it was for.
Any of that, because an old wino would get a drop of jewel on you, and you would be like, bro, he was drunk as hell, but that shit was real. I done been sitting around, shit, man, please. You know, we know, especially when you coming from the world we come from. Sometimes, man, you out there with the fiends or whatever, they dancing for dollars and saying some of the slickest shit you ever heard, man. I was locked up before with an old head that used to be in the P game, but he had a heroin habit. You know, he spent 3 days on his bunk sleep for the first 3 days he came in. On the fourth day when he woke up, man, that's the smoothest cat I ever spoke to in my life. Hey, his name was Booby Dog. Man, hey, old Booby Dog was the slickest, smoothest dude you ever want to speak to. And he was a heroin addict. So that shit could come from anywhere, man. But I like now this one I've been big on lately. This is number 4. Shun the comfort of talking and face the work. Now, these is all things to kill the toxic ego. This person is cooking, dog. They said, shun the comfort of talking and face the work. Everybody got an opinion. Everybody. Nothing wrong with that. They used to tell us opinions like assholes. Everybody got one. What's the evolution of an opinion? An action connected to that which you thought. So, if I got an opinion, how can I have an opinion about a man's wardrobe and I can't get him a new one? I mean, I could, but then I'm just living in ego. So if I'm somebody, let's just say, hypothetically speaking, I rock the new Jordans constantly. That's what I do. To me, there's nothing that's the top of the line. If you're a boss, you're supposed to have them on. The new Jordans come out, I'm about to go cop me a pair. And I call my man up. I said, hey, man, bro, the new joint's coming out. Every boss supposed to have one. If you ain't a boss, if you're a boss, you gotta have them. If you don't got them, I ain't honor you. And you say, oh man, I'm feeling you, but I ain't got it like that right now. And then you get off the phone like, man, this dude tripping. I'm going to get mine. You show up with your joints on, and you look at him like, bro, I can't believe you ain't got them shits on. Why'd you do that? You just broke down to him in this whole 20-minute spiel how all the bosses gotta have them, and if you don't got them, you ain't a boss. They had his size when you was at the store. It was easier to grab yours, look fly, and come talk slick to him, or grab two pair and shine together. Now, just maybe a good or a bad example. I hate Jordans, would never wear a pair, but I just figured it was relatable. Do the work. Don't just sit around talking. Don't be looking to look down. All of us got a way we could be getting busy. Find yours. It's easy to say, I would be doing so-and-so, but I'm not because. Man, you want to know how the general could get rich? Cash at me $1 for every black man that told me I would be doing so-and-so, but I'm not because.
Cameron got a lot I like. Niggas always talk about last year or next year. Niggas always talk about next year.
Always.
Yeah, next year I'm gonna do this. Next year I'm gonna do that. I got you.
Always. And it's like, if I'm gonna tell you, like, when I run into black men, like say, when I'm in gear, we patrol neighborhoods and shit. And when I run into black men, the first thing they do is stop and shake my hand and say, like all the time, it's dope what you're doing. We feeling it. Now, of course, I'm going to say, hey, man, my famous line is, hey, we always need some brothers. We need some black men. And so now we could talk 10 minutes about how dope the movement is. And then soon as I say we need some black men, the first thing black men always say to me, they auntie, they grandma, they uncle, they cousin, they somebody used to rock with the Panthers back in the days. So I know what it's all about. But right now, I just got a lot going on in my personal life where, I just don't want to bring that to the movement. I'm not saying that's not true or whether it is true. I'm just telling you the number one thing black men all over America tell me is that. And the only thing I can say is, regardless of whatever you saying, it doesn't change the fact that the women and children in our communities are unprotected. So now we got to prioritize what you got going on over protecting our queens. Me personally, I choose to do what I can to protect the women and children. I'll figure me out. I'm a man. But she ain't going to be able to figure me out and her and him. But I could figure me out. And then I could provide a platform to help the queens and the youngest facilitate what they got going on. Every single day in what they call an urban community, black women and children, and men too, are treated like shit in these local places. Now, these are places of people who are put it to you this way. Look at it this way. You got young black men and women who fantasize about the opportunity to go to college and be something fancy. But they know in their world, it's not even an option. College is so fucking far removed, you might as well not even speak on the subject. This is how they feel. But in their community, every single day, when they borrow a couple of bucks to go get some snacks after school, they got to go get those snacks from people who make enough money to drive cars they will never be in, sometimes, live in houses they will sometimes never be in, and send every last one of their children to college. That money is made off of the children who never gonna go there. Now we got to think about that. in your community. There's pirates that will put every last one of their children through college off of the money that you give them, but you'll never be able to afford such a convenience. And we can assume that's whoever's responsibility to take care of, because it seems like we've been moving for decades, understanding we have this problem, complaining about this problem, but expecting someone else to handle it. And then we look at the people in these positions and say, man, y'all ain't, what the fuck, y'all ain't doing. So we can't have it both ways. We can't be disgruntled with the people up front, but only be willing to stand in the back. So we have to face a moment where it's crunch time. We have to really decide what we believe as Black men. First and foremost, do I honestly believe that this is a war? If I don't, get on with your life and just see how that works out for you. If you do, if you honestly in your heart say, I do believe that this is a war. I may not be completely sure about what kind, but I believe we're at a war. Okay, then you have to see what side am I on. Am I the attacker or the attackee? Okay, from everything I can see from the results of the war, I have to be the one that got attacked. So I'm in a war where I got attacked. Now, this is the critical moment of my manhood. This could be the only moment of my manhood that really matters. If I can sit down as a man, a grown man, and say to myself, okay, I'm looking at the world objectively, and it seems as if there was a war between my people and these people. And all of the information that I could gather just off the top of my dome, not even digging into it, it don't look like we win in the war. And from everything I know just off the top of my head, I really believe that I was the one who got attacked, not the attacker. If I could reach these conclusions as a man, the very next question I must ask myself is, what am I willing to do about that? And if the answer is nothing, then what the fuck did you just do all that thinking for? But I think the reasonable conclusion is, if I can deduct this is a war, I was attacked and I'm losing, then I have to deduct there is something that I have to do. Then I have to decide what level of involvement am I willing to have? And what God do I believe in, so to speak? Because if we could open up that door briefly and say, I do believe in a God, and I believe in good and evil, and from what I can see, my people are being treated by evil. So from what we understand about this planet, you max out at 100, 120 years of living. So it's safe to say at some point, we're going to get to that. And then you have to deal with those moments of each one of us has to face whatever God we believe in. And let's just say this is the moment of accountability. There's no fancy outfit you could wear to manipulate people to think you're smarter than you are. There's no catchwords you can say. There's no slick talk. There's no way out. You and your creator, face to face. What did you contribute to what you saw while you were there? Only you can answer that, and you can't shuck and jive right now. Y'all like to whistle Dixie and all of this old. No, you can't do none of that right now. Right now. Here, right now. Mano y mano. You and the big one. Simple question. You seen a world of hate, racism, filth, and oppression. You've seen it every day of your existence. And you've seen it permeated heavy on your people. People who look just like you from all over your planet. What did you do about it? That's it. That's it. You got to answer that, not me. And just keep in mind, this ain't no, this is not a moment that could be manipulated. This is you looking into the hourglass. You can't manipulate that because it all was you. And we're scrolling back and we taking a peek at it. And we seen a good father, a good husband, nice bank account, nice house, never been arrested, and never been to one rally for the people. See, we got this whole scheme of things of what's good and bad kind of wired a little weird. If you never been arrested and you never stood up for your people, which one you think God more interested in? Your police record or your community standards? Like, what do you think God really cares about? Like, how many times you've been to the county jail for stupid shit? Or how many times you heard about a revolution and pretended you was busy that day? See, you could tell me when you walk up on me on the sidewalk coincidentally and bump into me, and I hand you my Panther card and we talk that talk. You could tell me anything you want. And you could say it in such a way that even you believe, like, ooh, that was a good one. You got to leave with you. And then you got to discuss you with you. And so on and so forth. So it doesn't matter what you say to anyone else. What's in your heart? That's why they say in African spirituality, they're going to weigh your heart against a feather. Weigh your heart against a feather. Think about that. That's heavy. I don't know how realistic that is, but I'm just thinking about the concept. For somebody to even think of that concept, what that means is it's possible. It's possible to weigh your heart against a feather and win. But woo, you better hope you get all 120 of them years. Try to make up with the last 20 if you need to. This is the space we got to navigate. If you not understanding what you woke up to yesterday, and you're not sure about what you woke up to today, what are your plans for tomorrow? We're doing this thing called winging it, where we do all the things that occupy our days on a day-to-day basis. And then the next day, we wake up and all of our plans are rooted around the similar shit of the day before. We do different variations of the same shit we did the day before. And as we materialistically advance, we call that progress. Meanwhile, there has been a spiritual decline. So you materialistically advancing, but you spiritually declining. And we calling that progress. Now, when you play that back in your mind, if that don't tweak you a little bit, it oughta. Because we frequently are on the opposite end of things of where we should be. And so that's why I said today, no comprehension equals compliance. My mama told me one time, and she don't know, she knows, she gonna know now. She said this to me when I was locked up. And it was so deep to me. I put it in one of my raps. I'm pretty sure I started the rap with that. If not, it was in like the first couple bars. And she said, the road to hell is paved with good intentions. Woo! Shucks. I think about that. Like, that put a whole new perspective on you about to tell somebody, honestly, I intended to. Like, you literally, for real, when you say, I intend to, well, I do it now. And when I break that all the way down, when I break the bars down, then I say to myself, I say, okay, what makes that such a thing? Because at first I had to toss that around for a minute, like, why would you say that? And then I'm arguing that 1,000 different ways, and then a light bulb hit me like, wait a minute. An intention is not an action. Woo, that Miss Mama lady is a cold piece of work. I'm sitting in my cell. That hit me a day or two later, like, wait a minute. An intention is not really even a thing. It's just something to say. Doesn't mean anything. It holds no validity. I intended to. Okay, that's great. But when you say I intended to, it sounds like nothing happened. When you say I intend to, it sounds like you're not going to do it right now, and you're not positive you're going to ever do it. You didn't say I'm sure I'll get to it. You say I intend to. So in every correlation of the word, intent is nothing more than just some shit to say. It's not an action. And this is the space we live in most of the time. What we intend to do. Know thyself. And I frequently speak in the collective. So when I say know thyself, I don't mean you as an individual. I mean you as a people. We got to get back into a tribal mentality to where we understand that we are a collective. Y'all's too caught up in land masses and bodies of land. The planet was created for you. So the general telling you it's all yours. And you want to argue about which piece of land belongs to you. I don't see any logic in that. You want to say you're a Christian. You want to say you're a Muslim. You want to say you're an Israelite. You want to say you're an Aborigine. You want to say you're African. And we're going to argue about all of these things. And then when I say, who's the first person on the planet? Everybody raise their hand. We was. So what the fuck are we talking about? If you were the first one on the planet, then it stands to reason you could easily be everything you just fucking named without an argument. Why must we argue? Ego. I just need you to know that I know something too. So when you give me this information, I can't take it in and say, ooh, dope. I got to impress you with my stuff. Hey, there you go. And then somewhere between your stuff and my stuff, we decide, hey, that ain't the right stuff, and then we fight. But what was the purpose? The purpose was to enlighten each other. But we got caught in the passion. Living the purpose, not the passion. I'm going to be using that a lot lately. I like that. This is what we have to comprehend. You could easily be an Israelite, because that means God's chosen people. Well, a God terraformed this planet for your species. If you wanted to argue that you're God's chosen people, hey, I'll fall back on that. Now, unless you're saying he's God's chosen people, she's God's chosen people, but I'm not because I don't subscribe to the book you read. Well, now we got a different discussion we have to have. Because that's not a scientific thing. That's personal. I don't read your book. I'm not in the clique. So without doing any genealogy or any DNA, you can tell I'm one of your chosen people just if I accept your book or not. Because these Hebrews are supposed to be a special selected group of people, a lineage, a bloodline of people that God selected. So how would I be able to become one of those just by reading the book and say, hey, me too? So we know it's not a thing. So if you're saying I'm God's chosen people because we're God's chosen people, yeah, let's do it. You want to say you're Aboriginal? Fucking duh. Why are we talking about that? I'm African. I'm not African. Well, what does that mean? In essence, that means tribal people who love the earth and got betrayed. And they got the richest landmass on the planet. You want to be connected to that. You want to be connected to America, the people who stole that shit from us. All right, that's fine. Whatever. Okay. Well, you're from there too, so have at it. Nothing gets solved with these dumbass discussions. We just beat on our chest and scream supremacy. And then we leave with nothing accomplished. Ego. Get into the purpose, not the passion. Past that point, we rocked hard tonight, and damn, I can't believe it's over. Everybody who knows me knows I'm on the way to the Golden Arches to get some ice cream, baby. And, definitely on my way to CNB. Y'all come rock with us. Yeah. Knowledge is the only real power. Information is the only real currency. I love y'all. I'm gone.